It's finally fall. Hallelujah, it's finally fall. Amen. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendall, if you don't already know. Today we are going to be doing the Finally Fall book tag. I know we're already in September. I know that fall is like already here basically. But the reason that I'm putting this out now is because I figured, you know, South Carolina has our fake fall in the beginning or like near the end of September. The first day of fall basically. So we get this drop in temperatures and you know it rises afterwards and it feels like summer again, and then it drops back off and we have our real fall. So now it's real fall and it's finally fall, y'all. So Elliot Brooks is the channel that this tag originally comes from, and I will leave it down in the description below so that you guys can see it as well. But I'm just going to go through the questions. I don't know about you guys, but with tag videos, I normally don't read the questions until I actually come to record, and maybe that's just me. It just kind of gives me a little element of I don't know what I'm looking for. So I figured it'd be fun to do a tag today, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it, okay? So the first question is, in fall the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. So this book is not talked about enough on BookTube or Bookstagram, and I don't know why, because first off, this is the perfect time of year to read this, and second off, it's an amazing book, and that is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. First off, let's appreciate this cover. It's freaking gorgeous. And this is what Melissa Albert, who wrote the Hazelwood book, this is her blurb for this book. She said, an eerie, lovely 12 dancing princesses retelling full of ghosts and gods in a fascinating waterfront world, and I'm reading it from behind my fingers. This book was, people call it a 12 dancing princesses retelling, and I would agree, but it is so dark that I wouldn't even, you know, like go into 12 dancing princesses. Like, that wouldn't be my mindset going into this book. The setting in this book is dark. It is gloomy. So you have this manor called Highmore Manor, and you have all of these princesses that live at Highmore Manor, and it's like on the edge of the sea. And there's like this cliff. So I always think of the house in the movie, the Series of Unfortunate Events movie, where the house is like on the side of the lake. Not like exactly like that, but that's how I think, like that's how they look over. But these princesses, they're all sisters, they live in that house, and the sisters just keep dying. Like, one of their sisters ends up jumping off from a cliff and going into the ocean, and then another death happens, and the princesses are just dying off. So the remaining princesses are like, no, we're not having this. So they're going to try and stop it. So our main character, Annalee, she sees ghosts, and she's taking that as a sign, as maybe she's the one who's supposed to put an end to this. So these girls go to like this cave type thing, and they go into this other world where they are dancing with these like they dress up in their ball gowns and they're dancing with these people. Annalee does not trust this. I mean, who would trust a cave full of dancing people? I mean, they go into other worlds, so there's like a ballroom, but still, if you have to go through a cave to get to a ballroom, I'm not going. But Annalee doesn't know whether to follow them and join in with them, or to try and figure out who they're dancing with, what they're dancing with. There's a lot of dark gothic vibes in this book, and it is so good. I rated it 5 stars, and it just, all the stars. Okay, the next question. Nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. I have the perfect one. So for this one, I am going with A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This novel, oh my gosh, this is a middle grade novel. It's illustrated. It has like illustrations throughout it. It's a mixed media type of novel. I read this last year. Did I read it last year? No, actually, I think I read this early this year in May. It was so good. I didn't understand what was going on. I'm going to read you the synopsis. I know I don't know if it bores you guys when I read the synopsis. Most of the time I try not to, but if it's short like this, I feel like it can explain it a lot better than I could and just gives you a general idea of what it is. But it says the monster showed up after midnight, as they do. But it isn't the monster Connor's been expecting. The one from the nightmare he's had every night since his mother started her treatments. The one with the darkness and the wind and the screaming. This monster is something different, something ancient, something wild, and it wants the truth. So this is following Connor, and he's this little boy. He's like 12 probably, and he goes to school. His mother is dealing with cancer and cancer treatments, and he keeps having these dreams where he has to try and like save her, and he doesn't end up saving her, and she just keeps dying over and over again, which would be terrifying as a 12-year-old to dream about. And so this monster comes to him in his dreamlike states and basically is telling him he wants the truth from him. Like he will tell him this many truths and these many stories, and then he wants a story and the truth from Connor. And Connor's like, what the heck are you talking about? What truth? What story? What do you want? And the ending just made this book, I mean, this book is amazing. It's moving. I gave it like 4 or 5 stars, I believe. I watched the movie afterward. I love the movie. It's just a really, really moving tale, and I think that everybody, especially people who have dealt with cancer or, you know, relatives that have had cancer, friends, family, all of that stuff, this is a good book to read. Even if it's just dealing with loss or grief in general, it's a really good read. Okay, question 3. Fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. I like this question. So I'm really bad about not reading nonfiction. There are plenty that I want to read. You know, I really have 2 really good biographies about Anna Kendrick and Shirley Jackson that I want to get to. I also want to read Jeanette McCurdy's biography. I have some like Norse mythology I want to read. I have a book about The Office. You know, I have a true crime book about lady serial killers, one about the Romanov sisters, murder in ancient Rome, which is probably one that I'm most excited for. But I'm really bad about reading actual nonfiction books, but I read a lot of like magazine type of things. Or, I mean, they have books, but I don't really read the majority of the book. I just read certain parts. But I really like reading about world religions. So I like learning the different things about, you know, Islam or Buddhism or Sikhism, and there's like a ton. Like, I didn't know how many religions there were until I took a class, but there are so many religions out there, and it's just very interesting to me to learn the different aspects, you know, the origins, where they came from, and what people believe in. I feel like it gives you a sense of understanding. You know, I feel like some people don't quite understand how another person believes. Like, if you don't believe that way, you might not understand it, but kind of getting the grasp of where their religion came from and why they believe it, stuff like that, it kind of really helps you just feel more open, and, you know, your arms are more open to accept people, and I really feel like that would be a really good thing for people to learn about. So that's just my hot take. Okay, question 4. In order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you'd like to be a part of. Oh, this is going to be hard. So, I have exclusive dust jackets for these, but A Court of Thorns and Roses. Y'all don't even... If I had a friend group like the Inner Circle, I'd be set for life, which I pretty much do now. Like, I have my inner circle of girls that I love. So, I definitely love the friendship, the family aspect. You know, most people know about this book, so I, like, spoilers, warning about spoilers, but Feyre comes in to the Inner Circle as nobody but this girl that Rhys is, like, attracted to, and he likes her, and now they know, you know, everything figures out about the mates and all of that good stuff. So that comes into play, but the way that they just accept her for who she is, and they don't try and change her, they try and tell her, speak out more, use your voice, be who you are. Friends should be like that. Friends should be encouraging you. Friends should be helping you to be the best that you can be, and not worrying about changing who you are or you doing things differently. It should be about who you are as a person. And I just love that. I literally love the friendship aspect. I love how the friendship feels like a family in this series, because it truly is. And yeah, I will never stop raving about these books. Okay, question 5. The colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. Ooh, I like that question. I have a few different reasons. So, the dark green on the last house of Neela Street definitely gives me fall vibes. This orange and the blue mixture in a Cosmology and Monsters, loving it. Mexican Gothic, the green. And then Heard It in a Love Song and You'd Be Mine gives me the little, like, brown dead things. Dead leaves, brown, you know, the neutral colors. And then it goes into, like, Crumbs, As Seen on TV, and Pumpkinheads, where you get the, like, yellow and the orange. Question 6. Fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book where somebody is telling a story. Whew. This one was a little bit trickier because I don't really read that many books that have a story like within the story. But a lot of classics do that. I just try to read Phantom of the Opera, where you have characters giving eyewitness accounts of kind of ghost. You know, they're seeing the Phantom of the Opera. So they're seeing the Phantom and they're giving kind of first-hand accounts of that. And it's very weird. I ended up DNFing it, did not like it, did not enjoy. But one that I really do enjoy, I love this copy, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I will always rave about this book. It's one of my favorite classics ever. This is actually a middle grade copy of the book, but it's just super cute. Like, you see the lightning strikes on the pages, like near the chapters and stuff. I love it. I love it, love it. You have this man, Robert Watson, who is telling the story of Dr. Frankenstein and his monster. So as you guys know, this is pretty much inventing sci-fi in a way that goes with horror as well. So you have this man, Dr. Frankenstein, who is creating this monster out of dead corpse body parts, and it's a bunch of different things happening. I love this book. I think it's perfect for this time of year, and I think everybody should have this on their checklist for having read this book. Okay, question 7. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. This book has been proven to be kind of a you either love it or hate it type of book. I really, really loved it. I enjoyed it so much. It's really kind of just like a fictional, suspenseful kind of novel. I didn't really find it as I think it's like categorized as a mystery thriller. I didn't see it as much as a mystery thriller. There are some suspenseful, there's an aspect of a thrill, I guess, but just for the majority of the book, it kind of is written just as a fictional novel. But I would say Girl A by Abigail Dean is super dark and super creepy. I don't know how much you guys know about this book, but let me just give you like a brief synopsis real quick. So basically, these children were living in this house that is known as the House of Horrors, and they grew up and they were kind of, you know, they were shackled to their beds. They were shackled and, you know, they weren't fed, they weren't bathed, they weren't taken care of properly. They were mentally tortured, emotionally tortured, probably physically tortured as well. And it is so scary. Their parents are the ones that are doing this to them. Their father is like leading the cause, and their mom, she's probably not participating so much in the torture or the abuse, but she is definitely just standing by and letting it happen. And now Girl A, who is known as Lex, also is the one who got them out of this situation. She escaped and, you know, got help and freed the rest of her siblings. Well, her siblings all have separate lives. They all, like, don't really associate that much with each other. So she's just going around, and you get caught up in everybody's story and their kind of perspective on how they were living with their parents, and you just get that suspense feeling of something's not right. And there is like a little plot twist thrill at the end that made this book even more exciting and better than I thought it was going to be. But the way that this author like talks about the things that these children went through, it is dark and it is creepy, and it really, really concerned me and made me feel so sad and so heartbroken for children, especially knowing that this kind of thing does happen. And so I always recommend this book if you want like a dark psychological read, but you definitely need to check out like trigger warnings and everything on this book, because if you have been privy to like abuse or torture or anything like that, like you might want to check out all of the trigger warnings just to make sure that, you know, this book doesn't harm you in any way. Okay, question 8. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. I will not go into much detail, but I already did in my last video. But Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell is definitely the way to go if you want a short, heartwarming story, especially for the fall, because it's just perfect. Okay, question 9. Fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. I'm just going to mention this really quickly because I've already talked to some people about it, but I really want to reread A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I feel like I talk about it a lot, but it's just an amazing series, and I just miss that world, and I miss everything about the characters. So I really think that starting like next year and maybe January, I'm going to start rereading that series and just reread it through, because I just miss it so much. So I would consider that one an old favorite of mine. Okay, and last but not least, question 10. Fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. Okay, well, first off, I don't care what it is, I need a blanket. I've been using like this gray fuzzy one that I have on my bed, so that's been my reading accessory. I have been getting better about using a bookmark. So I have certain bookmarks that I use during the fall to like make it feel more spooky. So I got this one in a book box at one point. That is from, I don't even remember, something. And I have like a dark one that is from Sorcery of Thorns that just gives me fall vibes. So I just, depending on what book I'm reading, I have to have a bookmark that goes with the vibes of whatever book it is, you know, like something creepy. Like this one's The Devouring Gray. Stuff like that. I need a creepy bookmark that goes with the aesthetic. And let me show you my last reading accessory. The last thing I need for reading is my BookBow bean. You can get these from bookbow.com. This one has different stamps from different books in it, but you just sit on your lap, sit it like here, or you know, like on your lap, but you can't see. So you just hold your book and you take it everywhere with you. Plus, if you're tired of reading, it makes a great little pillow. So I take this thing everywhere. You can also get straps to strap it around and put it on like a backpack or something. But you just, they have different designs as well, and they zip and unzip. So if you ever want to take your bean out and change just the cover, you're able to do that. So I love these things. It's like my favorite purchase that I've ever made, and I want more. So definitely recommend a book bean. But that is all of the questions. Thank you so much to the creator of this tag. It was so much fun to do. And I'm not going to tag anybody specific. If you want to do this video, I highly encourage you to do it because it was definitely a fun time. I would love to see people do this video, especially some of my friends. So if you're my friend, do it. I know it's kind of a little, we're already into fall kind of, but it's not too late to do it. And it's just really fun to put something out there for people to watch. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.